more tape there, AC.
There we go, there's the shot.
I'm Dave Emery. I'm a captain here at Brattleboro Fire Department. If you have any interest for this free class, you can come over here and buy
a couple tickets.
Sorry.
But what does it mean to you when the other guys and women who are working day in, day out?
It means a safer environment for us.
I've heard that.
My favorite part is the diesel exhaust system. These are the backyard trucks that put that hose on.
Most of you know because you're our dedicated supporters, and I see faces here that I know have been at each of the other two ribbon cuttings. So the community is well aware, but I'd still like to kind of put a punctuation mark on it by noting that what Kate meant by number 3 is this was, of course, a very large project. We have indeed, as a community, been working towards this for the last 35 years. And over the last 2 years, together with a team of folks I'm about to thank, have constructed a brand new West Brattleboro Fire Station, a fully renovated old Brattleboro Reformer building into what is now an as-new police station up on Black Mountain Road, and this beautiful facility here is our expanded and renovated Central Fire Station. So on behalf of today, the fire department, and in the broader perspective, both police and fire and our entire town employee team, we want to thank the community for stepping up at this time in these years to support these projects and make this kind of a modern, proper facility. It's safe, it fits the vehicles that are, the modern equipment that are necessary in order to protect the community, and provides us with the opportunity to better serve you. So together we all came to that conclusion a couple of years ago. You approved a whole heck of a lot of money to make it happen, and we're really pleased with the outcome of that. The folks who have led that and made it possible for us as a community include, as Kate mentioned, the members of the Police Fire Building Committee. There are several of them in the room. Please give us a wave if you're here. Steve Phillips and Robin Sweetapple were the co-chairs of that committee. John Allen was the select board liaison. Retired Fire Chief Dave Emery is here and a member of the committee. Thanks, Dave. Phil Chapman, Rhonda Calhoun, Kathy Dowd, and Prudence McKinney. I see here. Also members of the committee representing your interests as citizens in the community and making sure that we did this right. Eli Gould and Tony Farnham each also spent time serving on the committee previously and were part of helping bring the projects forward. On the town staff, you're going to hear in a few minutes from Fire Chief Mike Bacassi, who watched over very carefully every day what was going on with the project team and the construction of this facility, and Len Howard, who helped to lead this whole effort through to make sure that the details got addressed and the building got finished well. Fire Alarm Superintendent Joe Newton, not only here where he works every day, but in each of the other two facilities as well, contributed time and talent to making sure the jobs got done right. The same with Public Works Director Steve Barrett, especially related to utilities issues. The Planning Services team of Rod Francis, Sue Fillion, and Brian Bannon. And Finance Director John O'Connor minding the pennies. Assistant Town Manager Patrick Moreland helped to mind the pennies and did a lot of other important work in tending to various different issues as they came up throughout the job. Would you please join me in a round of applause for the town's employee team. And we were really fortunate on all three of these projects. We kind of considered it one large project with three significant elements to it because that's how the team worked through this together. The architects and the contractor were the same for all three of the buildings. The architects, it's a team of people from New England Collaborative Architects. The lead for our projects was Ray Giolito. Ray, give us a wave. And together with him today and on the hardworking team that put all of the design work together and watched over the construction, Orrin Mills, John Scheib, Sean Donadio, and Andrea Baranek. Thank you to the New England Collaborative Architects team. DEW Construction. They were the folks who actually built these three facilities, and especially in the two renovation projects. As you know, if you've done any renovation, those don't come without some special challenges where you have to try to kind of fit square pegs into round holes at times. They did it, they were flexible, we worked together through the different issues that arose at all three of the sites. We have with us today the leader of the team, the owner, Don Wells. We're glad to have you here. And we really appreciate the quality of the team that you assembled to be our teammates in this work. Project Manager Mike Farm, Project Engineer Colby Luopa, Project Superintendent Ken Castor, and the Closeout Warranty Supervisor Bill Greenwood. So thank you to the DEW team. My final thank you, before I step aside and the chief addresses you and we cut a ribbon and celebrate the building, goes to Steve Horton. Steve's a quiet guy. He's a modest guy. Most of you probably haven't met Steve. Some of you know about him. Many people probably don't because he's been a behind-the-scenes essential person in making this happen. We each had a role to play. Steve was the guy right in the center of all of that. He was the hub of the wheel, our clerk of the works, project manager for the town, successfully bringing these projects together, not just so we have first-class facilities for both our police department and our fire department, but bringing an almost $13 million job in $300,000 under so that we've got some resources still to apply to other needs, and we'll be talking about that in the weeks ahead. But for today we're celebrating, and you got us here to celebrate, so thank you, Steve. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Fire Chief Mike Picasso.
Thank you all for coming and welcome to the Brattleboro Fire Department Central Station. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Picasso. I'm the Fire Chief here in Brattleboro. And I'd also like to introduce and thank Assistant Chief Lenny Howard. He worked next to me day in and day out to keep this thing on track, and I really appreciate the work that he did. In the early summer of 2016, as things were being finished up at Station 2, we broke ground here at Central Station for a major rehabilitation and a renovation expansion. With the project now complete, I'm very proud of this building, and I'm glad to say that the great work that's been done here will give the employees a very healthy and positive place to work. The building is large, bright, and healthy, and both new stations represent a long-term commitment by the town and the citizens to the Brattleboro Fire Department, something that we truly appreciate. For the fear of leaving someone out, I'm not going to stand here and try to thank and introduce anybody, except for two groups. One, I'd like to thank the Citizens Committee for getting this thing on track probably almost three and a half years ago. They worked hard, they worked next to us, and they listened to our needs and made sure we got them. The other group I'd like to thank is the Brattleboro firefighters. Through all of the challenges, the noise, the construction dust, no kitchen, no bedrooms, they always looked ahead and looked at the big picture. They never complained, and they always adjusted to the situation. And for that, I want to thank each and every one of you. So before we cut the ribbon, I'd like to invite everybody to stay afterwards. Wander through the station. The firefighters will be spread out through the building, and they'll answer any questions you might have. Feel free to roam and help yourselves. There's also some snacks, coffee, and punch up in the meeting room as you walk through. Again, help yourselves. With that, I'd like to introduce Etta Madison. She's the chief of former fire chief, or she is the wife of former fire chief T. Howard Madison. Etta will cut the ribbon for us. Just put it all the way in there. Okay, get that. There we go.
So thanks again for coming, and enjoy the tours and enjoy the refreshments and enjoy this great facility. Thank you.
I'm Dave Emery. I'm a captain here at Brattleboro Fire Department.
Yeah, so what was that experience like? What did they do? They came in, they took out your kitchen, they took out your beds. What was it?
So the experience, it was a little chaotic at times. From day to day, as the project progressed, we weren't 100% sure what we'd have for facilities available to us. There were times when we didn't have a bathroom. We used a porta potty for a little bit. The kitchen, we had some temporary areas to cook in or to eat in during our 24-hour shift. And bedrooms, sometimes we were in a couple of separate bedrooms. Sometimes we were all kind of jammed into one for a little while, 5 at a time. And they moved us off-site to temporary housing to an apartment for a little while.
Around here,
Yep.
around Main Street.
Yep, it was right up at Moore Court, as a matter of fact.
So what do? You run?
So that was probably the most challenging part, was coming out.
You're on duty.
We were on duty.
Yeah.
It was just like being at the firehouse. We'd come here for the business day, and then in the evening we would run out of Moore Court.
Yeah.
So we'd have an apartment, and we had a television and some beds, and we'd kind of hung out. We got to know each other a lot better. So normally, during our 24-hour shift, we've got a kitchen, and it gets overused a little bit sometimes, but we're a family, and we eat together. In the new facilities, we have bedrooms so that shift members don't have to sleep in the same bedroom, because some of the folks get up for certain calls, some get up for other calls, so we
have individual bedrooms.
We have individual bedrooms.
Before or now? Or
and before we did as well, so
Yeah.
this kind of mirrors what we had, and just in that transitional time we had a few challenges.
Are they nicer?
They are beautiful. They are beautiful. The audio systems for our radios, it's incredible. The HVAC for the building, it's so much more comfortable.
What's that?
The heating and air conditioning.
Heating and ventilation. Yeah.
Yep. And probably the highlight of our sleeping quarters and our living quarters, the best part of this new project, was the implementation of the exhaust systems for our fire trucks. When we back in, there's that tube that goes over the exhaust from the diesel motor.
Is that what those yellow tubes are?
That's exactly what that is. In our old station, it had been renovated so many times. There were holes through the floors and the ceilings that you could go upstairs, you could clean the kitchen and the meeting room and our bedrooms, and when you'd come in for your next shift 2 or 3 days later, you could run your finger and there'd be diesel exhaust. One of the best aspects, a lot of the firefighters here, the facilities are new and they're really nice. They're much more healthy for us to spend some time in and do our work in. We're very thankful. We're very grateful for where we're at. It's everything we hoped it would be.
And you're digging it.
And we're loving it. We're loving it. We're pretty lucky. So, one of the nice parts of this bathroom is it actually comes in to a room that we call our dirty decon room. If we get back from a fire, after any fire we go to, we're covered in we have some sort of hazardous materials on us.
Yeah.
Whether it's from building fire or car fire. If we have enough of that on us and on our gear, we can come in here, strip down out of our gear, and we can immediately get into the shower right here if we need to, if the situation dictates that.
What would precipitate that? Like you're covered in what, gasoline or
It could be gasoline during a building fire. Most everything that burns is man-made, and when it burns, it produces carcinogens.
Right.
So it absorbs into our skin. It gets on our gear. It could be oily. It could be aerosolized. It could be chunky. It could be anything. So when we get it on us and on our gear, we try to get it off as fast as we can. So these two little rooms. Yep, we're using them already. So it's pretty neat. So this is it's a gear extractor. It's a heavy duty washing machine for our turnout gear.
What's turnout gear?
Turnout gear, our firefighting gear.
Stuff you would wear out to a call.
Yep, to building fires or car fires or general alarms. And this machine's made to clean just that sort of equipment. And it keeps it separate from if we wash our uniforms, just our underclothes. They shouldn't be washed in the same washer as the machine that is cleaning kind of the junk off our stuff. Yeah. So we use that for our turnout gear, and this contraption is a dryer. It blows warm air through. You can hang your gear over it. It blows warm air out each of these holes, and this gear with the multiple layers would take probably 24 to 48 hours to dry in a really nice environment, nice dry, warm environment, and it dries in about 12 hours with this. So we can get our gear back in service really quick. Each of the career staff, the full-time firefighters here, has a spare set of gear, so we can take it off when we need to wash what's dirty, put our spare set in service, and this just quickens that process. So this system, this hose is hooked on a track. When the truck pulls out of the station, we're traveling at very low speeds, and it actually disconnects. There's an air bladder in the bottom of this connection that when you hit a certain spot, there it releases that bladder, it kicks off, and we respond to our call. When folks come back in the station, when the trucks come back, we just have one person safely on the side. As the exhaust hits the door, this bladder goes over. A simple push of a button reinflates it. It holds on, and it has a vacuum that takes the exhaust through the hose and expels it outside the station.
And the old station had the system, but it was crap.
It didn't even have a system.
Oh.
Nope. So when the trucks came in, whatever came out of that tailpipe came right into our station. The new firehouse does not have a pole. This is the remnants of our previous pole, and it was cut and left as a memento of our old firehouse. We took this was on the second floor of the station before we renovated, and this is all that's left is a 12-foot piece of it that goes to nowhere. We actually thought of putting a cover here so that it still looked like maybe, to add which we may do.
You can get an artist to sort of paint those illusions.
That would be really. You could look like the tops of the fire trucks, on each side. That would be really cool. It's really not. And I actually read a news article from like 1904 about fire poles, and there were fire chiefs around the country who were building this lawsuit against manufacturers of fire poles, because even in the late 1800s to early 1900s, firefighters were sliding down and breaking their legs or falling off and breaking their necks.
Yep.
So there's always been that stigma about them.
Did you use it?
I used it a few times. It really was impractical. It was outside of our our sleeping quarters. So during the day, with your wits about you, it was a dangerous thing to take on. At night, when you've been awake for 13 seconds and you're going to the fire trucks, coming out and getting on a pole and sliding 25 feet down, seems like a really bad idea. We had an elevator. So we had no access to the second floor for people with any sort of mobility issue. And now we do. So a lot of the facility was built with that in mind, and this is probably the biggest step in that direction.
Whose idea was the floor signage?
I am not sure,
There's something in
That's really cool.
but it is really
almost
cool.
every single night. Market growing up, I'll tell you. When we used to go down the room.
We can step into one of the bedrooms. While each bedroom has at least 2 beds in it, we have 3 different shifts. We have on for 24 hours and off for 48, so we're here every 3rd day. So while there's 2 or 3 beds in the bedrooms, each day that you work, the bed that's next to you isn't one of your shift mates. It's from another shift, so it lets you rest a little bit easier sometimes, a little more comfortable. And some of the guys are up really late, reading, studying, and some of the guys like to get a little more rest. So it makes it nice for the whatever shift is on duty. Right now we've got 5 or 6 firefighters in an instructor class, how to be fire instructors, through the Vermont Fire Academy with lots of homework. So when they come on shift, when we're done with our duties, our daily duties, and in between emergency calls, they can find either a bedroom or a study and sit down and get some of their work done. This is one of our study areas. We're getting a couple of firefighters come up. You know, we've got Wi-Fi, so they can bring their laptop up and study and do homework in here. And most of them, we take a lot of classes together outside of our duty days, so we can come in here and kind of collaborate a little bit. And it gives us again a quiet spot away from the trucks and the people in and out of the station to sit down and study a little. This is our day room. So at night after supper, we can come in here. If our work's done, folks don't want to spend some time studying or don't have anything immediately pressing, we kind of come in here and watch a little football together. Nice place to relax.
This is totally new.
This is totally new. This is in the old part of the station, the existing building, but completely renovated and very nice, very comfortable for us. So this way, this empties out into our new apparatus floor, which is where our first line, our front line trucks are. It's a little empty right now for the festivities, but this is where our engines, our rescue truck, our ladder truck, this is where we run out of 99% of the time now.
What would the other 1% be?
The other 1% of the time, the original station, the part that got renovated, this is the addition. The part that got renovated, one of those bays turned into an office area and conference room for the administration, and the other 3 bays are still there. So those bays get used for our smaller, we have a pickup that we use to pull our trailers around. We have some trailers for hazardous materials incidents, technical rescue incidents. There's ropes and confined space gear. In our boat, which we use, our dive team uses it for lots of emergency type runs, and we use it on the river when we need to during different incidents. So we're here for 24 hours. So this is our home away from home, and this is our kitchen and our dining room. So we spend a little bit of our day, every day, up here. And they've given us a beautiful facility with the ranges, the fridges, the room in general. So it's nice. We like it. So the table.
It's incredible.
The table itself has been in the firehouse, since before 1970. I'd guess maybe even 20 years before that. In '74, when I was a baby and came to visit my dad here, it was here. We had it refinished, and then we had the Brattleboro Fire Department added onto it probably 15 years ago. And since then, we've stripped it down. We try to keep it nice. It's been kind of the center point of our eating area now.
Is your group meals in here?
We do group meals, yeah. Each shift, we eat together every night that we're at the firehouse. We eat lunch and dinner together every shift. We sit around the table and we share stories and eat good food.
How's the food?
Well, I said good food. We've got a few guys who have a little ways to go with their culinary skills, but for the most part, it's pretty good, and it's always good company.
yourself in the car. Here are the jaws of life, here is the wrecking bar. Hey.